to this session. I hope some of you have been to other sessions already this week, but if this is your first one, welcome to our virtual fair. So I will share this in the link or in the chat again, but there is a link to a survey for you to fill out. It's the sign-in for this session. It's how you get your t-shirt and how you get entered into some more prizes and giveaways that we'll be doing throughout the week. All right, so my name is Katie Bush. So I work in the Office of Study Abroad and Global Learning as a program coordinator for our faculty-led programs. I also advise on Oceania as well as any of our programs that are in the United States. And then I'll let my other presenters introduce themselves as well. So Diana, if you want to go.
Yeah, I'm Diana Howard. I work with faculty to put together these faculty-led programs. So I've been doing it for about 6 years. And yeah.
All right. And then we also have a couple of student ambassadors with us who are alums of faculty-led programs. Missy, you're the first one I see, so do you want to go ahead and just say hello?
Sure. Hi, my name's Missy. I went on a faculty-led program to Hawaii for a geography trip. So, and I will be talking about that eventually. So it's nice to see so many people today here.
Yes. All right, and Alan.
Hey, I'm Alan. I am a senior. I studied abroad in Czech and Central Europe this summer of 2018, I believe. And thanks for coming.
Okay. So as you can see on this kind of slide, the link at the bottom, the wku.edu/studyabroad/faculty-led, that goes to our landing page for our most recently upcoming study abroad program. So if you want to take note of that. Otherwise, it's pretty simple to find faculty-led programs from our homepage for study abroad. This is just going to be a general overview of how faculty-led programs work at WKU. We're going to share some of the options we have coming up for this summer. And then Missy and Alan will talk a little bit more about their experiences on their program. And then at the end, we'll have a Q&A. So if you want to hold any questions until the end, and then at the end, you can either turn on your mics and ask questions or put those in the chat.
Okay, so why should you study abroad? To experience other cultures and set yourself apart. I mean, it's obvious, but anytime you get out of your comfort zone, you grow in surprising and unpredictable ways. So travel seems to do this for you, no matter if you're going to California or to, Spain or wherever. So you also will gain like marketable skills, say intercultural, like communication, problem solving, adaptability. Like these are all skills that employers are looking for. So not only will you go and have like a great experience, get course credit, it can enhance your resume as well. So so hands-on experience, you get a global perspective and just personal growth and development. Go to the next one. Thank you, Katie. Let's see. What exactly is a WKU faculty-led program? They're taught by WKU professors. You get WKU course credit. Get my notes. And depending on the program, it could be major specific credit, or a lot of our programs have colonnade credit, and we're adding more and more each season for colonnade credit. Most of them you'll get 3 hours, credit hours. Some of these programs you can get 6 credit hours. Tuition is waived, so you're only paying for the program cost, which could be a huge savings. Our programs are, it makes them more affordable. So most of them will go either in the winter or summer term, and they're either 2 to 5 weeks in length. So that's in country. You might have a little bit of work on the front end on Blackboard and a little bit on the back end, but for the most part, they will run 2 to 5 weeks in country. And that's about it for that piece. So.
All right, so we're primarily going to focus on the programs that we have for summer 2021. As we all know, we have a little friend named COVID who keeps wanting to hang out with us. So that is why primarily summer 2021, everyone cross their fingers that we can all start traveling again at that time. So this is just kind of a map that shows the different locations that we have programs planned for the summer. You can see it runs the gamut, including the United States. We are also in the process of developing some virtual opportunities. So that might look like a standalone virtual program, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's completely web-based. There would still be quite a bit of communication between you and the faculty face-to-face, whether that's Zoom or in the classroom. And then also looking at having kind of like side-by-side programs. So you could either go on site or take the program from home and collaborate with the group that's on site. So that's kind of in the works for us. So I have a little poll that I'm going to show just so that we can kind of get an idea of where you guys are all coming from in terms of what college your major is located in. And if you don't know that, that's okay. So I'll give you guys just a few seconds here to fill this poll out, and then I'll share the results. All right, I'm at 32 people. All right, and I'm going to share this in just a couple seconds here. So it looks like the majority of you are coming from Potter or the College of Health and Human Services. So good news is we have programs for those colleges. All right, so the next slide, we're just going to go over kind of quickly, but it's going to be a list of the programs that we have broken out by college. So starting with the College of Health and Human Services, you can see we have a few options for if you're in communication disorders, if you are a tourism or hospitality or food major. If you are social work, there's an awesome program that goes to Los Angeles, and then also one for fashion merchandising majors to go to New York. So all of these offer great opportunities to learn things specifically in your field. Moving on to Ogden, we have some programs for agriculture in Ecuador, and then a majority of our programs actually are in geography and geology, and they're all colonnade for the geography programs, which is awesome, offering lower level colonnade and also upper level depending on the program. For biology students or also agriculture students interested in wildlife conservation, we have a program that goes to South Africa most summers. So Missy, if you want to tell us a little bit about your experience in Hawaii, which I also got to go on the Hawaii program when I was in grad school, so it's amazing. And this is a winter program.
Yep, it was a winter program, so it was really nice to go to Hawaii when it was cold up here in Kentucky. Okay, so like I said, it was for geography, and my major is English. So it counted for as a colonnade credit for me, but they were able to like give me a project that still allowed me to develop my skills in English and writing. So I did a lot of the historical work. So this picture in the top left, we hiked up Diamond Head, which is like, it's a volcano. So we hiked all the way up to the crater. So there's a picture of all of us. Let's see, Rainbow Falls Lookout. That was a waterfall. And it's supposed to be really pretty with like a whole bunch of rainbows. We were so excited. Well, when we went there, it looked like a geyser was like shooting straight out, like off of a cliff. There had been so much rain But yeah, I mean, really, it was very active. There was a lot of active work. There was a lot of team building that we had to do, like with kayaking. That was extremely difficult on the ocean. Um, but it was nice. It was a group of 6 of us, so it was smaller, which made it easier. We all dormed together, all girls, which made it easy. Um, and a lot of the work really was not so much like paper and like assignments, but projects and experience. It's a very hands-on um, thing that you go do, and it is hard. You are extremely out of your comfort zone, but you come out with a really big community and you learn so much, and it is so worth it. So, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're moving into Potter, which is where the majority of you guys were coming from. And this is where we tend to have the most programs. So you should find one hopefully that will fit. And again, a lot of these are going to offer colonnade classes as well. So when you're thinking about your study abroad experience, you don't have to take a program that's in your major. What we advise is just make sure you're taking a program that is getting you towards graduation. So if you're taking something that is just for fun, just make sure that class is going to work towards your graduation plan in the end. So there's a program that goes to the Czech Republic, which I think is our longest faculty-led program. It's about a month. And you typically get to stay overnight in quite a few different locations. That might look a little bit different for this summer, but they are still, I think, expecting to see several of the sites they normally do. A brand new program we have for the summer is art in Germany. That's going to have a lower level colonnade as well. Typically, the anthropology department has a program that goes to Mongolia, and you actually get to do field work. And then a popular one that we have for our political science international affairs majors is a program in Morocco. And then Image West often has a program. It's more of an internship experience. And then we also have a program that goes to Trinidad and Tobago for history and African American experience. And that is one that is looking at doing some sort of virtual component for this year. As well as there's a dance program. You don't have to be a dance major. I think the course is Dance 110, so again, lower level colonnade. And it's a great experience if you just like dance at all to be able to take classes in actual dance studios in New York. And Alan is going to tell us a little bit about his time on the Czech program, which I'm jealous. I wish I could go on that one.
Yeah, so I went to the Czech and Central Europe program with Dr. Murphy. It was 6 weeks. We went to, I believe, 4 or 5 countries over the course of the program. Most of the time you do spend it in the Czech Republic in a town called Olomouc. That's kind of your headquarters and where you spend your off days hanging out. And just like one of the biggest things that at least faculty-led programs have done for me is like, one, give me confidence in myself. There's going to be a lot of times where, at least with this program, you get a lot of autonomy. A lot of the times, Dr. Murphy will be like, okay, here's the city, go around, spend some hours exploring by yourself. Usually you just get in your groups. My group was like 15 people. And so there was like 2 or 3 large groups that we all kind of split up and went around, and you just kind of explore a city. And I don't know any Czech at like all. I knew 3 words going into it. Most of the time, as long as you're willing to smile and get through that language barrier, it's an amazing experience. And I still actually hang out with the people that I went on the faculty-led program with here 2 years down the line. We always try to get together like once or twice a month. And yeah, it was just great. A lot of the stuff, at least the way, if you ever met Dr. Murphy, he's a really smart guy. He is able to talk to you about everything off the top of his head. So whenever we went to like a chateau or castle, essentially what you do is kind of a walking tour where he explains to you all the happenings about that location. And it's just amazing to see, like, we go through hundreds of years of history basically over the course of those 6 weeks. And so it was a real treat to be able to go there.
Yeah, I would say the Czech program probably is in like the top 3 of our longest running program at WKU. So that it there's Dr. Murphy has lots of experience there, lots of contacts, which is awesome. And Alan brought up a good point. So all of these programs, the courses are in English because they're offered through WKU. So you don't have to know the language of the location you're going to. Alan or Missy, do you want to talk about kind of the benefit of getting to travel with a WKU faculty member, like in terms of the relationship and just the way you can get to know them more so than you might in just a normal class?
I mean, you want to start?
I'll start, sure. Um, well, I had no connection to like the science classes at all, really. Like it didn't have a lot to do with my major. Um, but Professor Dobler and Professor Neiman, I still talk to them. I email them. We spent a lot of like personal time together, and it's more so. It's not just like, "Hi, how are you?" Like sitting in a class answering questions. Like you really spend time like getting to know them, and they know you. So it's a very personal trip, you know. What else? Um, let's see. I don't know. Let's see. Professor Dobler really likes puns, yeah, making jokes. So, you know,
Dad of king jokes, or the king of dad jokes, I mean.
think of that jokes. Oh yes. Oh, okay. So Amy and Scott, uh, they were a married couple. So it was very interesting to like see that dynamic on the trip. You know, it was like a little family, you know, all driving around Hawaii, like sightseeing. Oh, and Amy goes to Hawaii often. Like this is her trip that she does every year. So we spent a lot of time with people that she knew, like in the professional environment, and just people that live there. We got to speak to a lot of locals that she's known for a long time. So we really have a lot of connections. Like there are some people there I follow like on Instagram now, and they're in like local government and stuff. So I get to keep up on that, and it's exciting. You know, I'm like, oh, I know that person, and they're doing this now, and I feel connected to the place for sure.
Alan, anything to add?
Yeah, I guess Murphy, he was actually my first academic advisor ever going into Western when I was a freshman. And so I've kind of known him and taken his classes throughout my undergrad experience. And it's crazy how your professors are going to know so many people on that program. For my situation, we actually got to meet two heads of political parties in the Czech Republic. We got to meet the head of the Communist Party and also the head of the Pirate Party, which is really crazy that these people actually have like significant power in the Czech government. And it's crazy. It's wild to see uh, what kind of links that are between Western and the world at large. So.
Awesome, thank you guys. Okay, so I have another poll for you, just because it's another thing that we're kind of curious about. So our faculty-led programs, of course, are located in the US and international. So just kind of curious if you lean one way or the other as something you're more interested in. And keep in mind, we're really focusing on summer, but we do typically have more locations than what you've seen here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end that. So if you're still dying to put your vote in, do that now. So I'm not surprised. The majority are interested in international programs, but I also love to see that there are quite a few of you interested in both options. So that's awesome. Thank you. All right, so kind of just a general overview of how the application process works for faculty-led programs. First, you always, of course, want to research the programs and find out which one's best for you. You can ask questions of the faculty leaders, You can ask questions of a study abroad advisor, or you can talk to one of our student ambassadors to kind of help figure that out. Then you would go to our website and submit an online application. It's pretty simple in terms of submitting it. There's not too many pieces up front. And once you submit that, it goes to the Office of Student Conduct for review, and then also the faculty member to review it to make sure that you meet the general eligibility requirements for the programs, which mostly it's that you are in good academic standing and that there's nothing on your conduct record that would prevent you from studying abroad. Once it has been reviewed, you get your acceptance notification, more than likely your acceptance notification, and then you would be prompted to pay your deposit for the program. So for our faculty-led programs, there is no application fee up front, which is great. But to secure your spot after you've been accepted, you do have to pay a non-refundable program deposit. That is typically $250, but it is part of your total program cost. So it's not in addition to that, which I always like to point out. And then after you've paid your deposit, you'll start to get information from the faculty on what to expect from the program. If they have any additional meetings before the program departs. Every program will have at least one pre-departure session. And then the program balance will be billed to your TopNet account. And you just want to make sure you pay that by the due date. But it does get billed to the TopNet account, which is good for you in terms of possibly using your financial aid and whatnot. All right.
Okay, so there are various ways that you can fund your program. Most of the, there's not one set price for these programs because, as we mentioned before, the tuition's waived and you're basically just paying for the cost of the program. So the amount does vary significantly. Financial aid does apply to these programs, so you can work with the financial aid office to find out exactly how much you'd be eligible for. And there are also scholarship opportunities. So our office manages the World Topper Scholarship, which is available for any students that are studying on one of these programs. So I definitely, if you're gonna go on one of these programs, apply for the World Topper. I mean, that could every little bit helps when it comes to payment. So you can also do some creative fundraising. I know students have done bake sales and they've asked their families for Christmas gifts or whatever. So there are creative ways to make it happen. So,
yeah, Missy or Alan, do either of you have some creative tips that you tried for your program to raise money?
I did. What I did is I went for the SGA scholarship and also the World Topper scholarship. And besides that, I just worked part-time and saved up doing it that way.
Same. I have a job, so I just worked a lot.
Yeah, so the earlier that you start thinking about doing a program, the more time you have to kind of plan and save up for it. So if that means trying to find, if you don't already have one, a part-time job on campus or something like that, and just putting it in that faculty-led program fund.
yeah, it's definitely worth it. So our safety is our #1 concern with all of our programs and all of our students. So we carefully vet each of the programs, the locations. We're always monitoring, throughout the year, we're monitoring the World Health Organization, the State Department travel recommendations, and also the CDC. I mean, this last year was quite the challenge with that, but it's worth it. Students are worth it. So we do whatever we can to keep you guys safe. Every student that travels abroad will have comprehensive health insurance. And also the program, the faculty has like 24-hour, 7-day-a-week coverage for staff support back home. And each program will have a pre-departure orientation before you leave the country. And then as you go to new locations in country or in the United States, you'll get a new like on-site orientation. So safety is the utmost importance.
Okay, so we kind of talked about the application process and have gone over kind of an overview of these programs. So where do you go from now? Recommend either going to our website or that faculty-led landing page, which is wku.edu/studyabroad/faculty-led. And from our main homepage, if you click on our Explore Programs button, you can filter through all the different study abroad options out there and choose WKU faculty-led. So only faculty-led programs will show up. And that will show programs that might not be running this year, but plan to run in the future, so you can kind of get an idea of what programs have been offered in the past as well. And then of course, as an advisor, we are more than happy to sit down with you over Zoom currently to have a virtual advising appointment and just go over any questions you might have, to go over the process again, talk about funding, things like that. So definitely use your resources in terms of who you can ask questions for, and don't be afraid to reach out to the faculty either. Once you start exploring the programs page, you'll see that their information and contact info is listed for every program as well. And they love to talk about their programs. So it's a great way to get to know them before you go. All right, so I know we've had a few people join since we started. So for those of you who were here before, just bear with me. But I am once again sharing the link in the chat to the sign-in form. So if you have not already done that or saved the link, please do so now. That will allow you to get your t-shirts, which you can start picking up next week from our office. We have certain office hours. There'll be some communication sent to you about that. And then also we are giving away some other different prizes and giveaways. So make sure you fill that out. And then just a reminder, there's a couple more sessions that are just WKU focused only sessions. So tomorrow evening, one to talk about our international exchanges as well as national student exchange. And then on Friday, we'd like to have a conversation with all of you about what would you want out of a virtual global learning experience. Okay. So now I just want to open it up for questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or you can put it in the chat. You can ask us, or you can ask Missy or Alan, whoever you want to hear from. While we're waiting for any questions to trickle in, Missy or Alan, do you have like one piece of advice that you would give to students who are thinking about doing a program like this?
I would say go ahead and try to like study abroad early, like right after your freshman or sophomore year, because most of the time people, after they do it once, they're like, oh, I would love to do this again. And unfortunately, sometimes they wait till like their junior or senior year to do it.
All right, so it looks like Quincy and a few others have asked about the total cost. So we don't have all of the total costs for our summer programs up yet. They will be soon. So just because I saw you asking about the New York fashion one, but when you go to our website and search for the programs, they're all listed on what we call our program brochure page. And you can link to that from a short link as well. So I'm just going to share that so you guys can save it. But I would say, on average, these programs range from about $3,000 to the max is probably $6,000-7,000 with everything included, just to kind of give you an idea. Let's see. Molly, do you want to explain your question just a little bit more?
Yeah, so I think you said it was like a 7,000 character max, and then the minimum was like 2,000. So do they prefer when essays are longer, or is it just answer the question?
For like scholarships,
Because I know, yeah, because I know some scholarships, they're like, I don't know, it's like they want more, and then other scholarships are like, no, just answer the question.
I think it really depends on the scholarships and who's reading them. But I think you definitely want to hit all of the points that the question answers. And if you can do that succinctly, I think that that's totally fine. And if you're specifically talking about like the World Topper Scholarship, for that one, as long as you answer it, and it looks like you've tried, that's pretty good. But if you're looking at for more competitive scholarships, you definitely want to tell more of a story in the answer if that helps.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Quincy, so with the scholarships for World Topper, you can find that you actually apply the same way that you apply for the program. So it's all on our website, and you'll have info sent to you as well on that. Okay, Rachel, what kind of colonnade credit would I get from going on a trip that's not with my major? Is there any honors credit with that too? So for the honors credit question, most programs and most faculty, if they don't have an honors section listed, can work with you to create an honors section for that course so that you can receive honors credit for it. In terms of colonnade, it just depends what the class is offered. We have, most are going to be under the local to global or explorations and connections categories of the colonnade program. But those are ones you have to take either way. So it doesn't matter what your major is if you want to take them. Yes, Rachel, the South African program would be awesome for a pre-vet major. You do a lot of capture and release, and you're actually out in the kind of safari area for that and working with, I believe it's a national park and conservation group. I've got everyone's questions that have come in. If I didn't, just let me know. Rachel, for that one, definitely reach out to Dr. Mike Stokes if you're interested. Let's see. So there's been just some general questions about Pell Grants and scholarships. So definitely always talk to the Office of Student Financial Assistance. They've changed so many times in the past couple of years, but Financial Aid Office to confirm anything with those. But yes, so to be eligible to receive like federal financial aid in the summer, you do have to take 6 credits. I'm not sure what the like automatic amount would be for the summer. That changes quite often, and also kind of depends on how much aid you've taken out for the whole year as well. But that's a good point. For summer programs to receive federal financial aid, you have to be enrolled in 6 credits for this whole semester. Does anybody want to share where they would just absolutely love to travel to? It doesn't have to be a location that we have listed here. I'm always just curious where people's like dream destinations are. Mine right now is southern Spain. I would love to go there in a heartbeat. Okay. So we'll just give a couple more minutes here for questions. And then if no one has any, we will log off. Remember, you can send an email to study.abroad@wku.edu at any time with questions. Go to our website, meet with one of us. We love to talk to you. And I'm so glad that you all came. It's great to see so many people interested in study abroad. And thank you, Missy and Alan, for joining and talking about your experiences. Well, I'm going to call it. So thank you so much, guys.